is Kathleen, and I'm pleased to be here to sing the praises of the lowly sandpaper. It is my favorite tool for junk journaling. And why is that, you ask? I just wrote down a couple things. Number one, it's affordable. So many tools can get so pricey. I have other favorite tools, but they cost me a lot of money. And sandpaper is cheap. You can even steal it from your husband's shop if you've got one. It's also really easy. It's just easy to use. It's intuitive. You don't have to be taught how to use it, and the results are predictable. And you know, it can take some practice depending on exactly what you want to do. But I think the most important reason why I like this is because it allows me to make trash vintage and pretty. Yeah, so let me show you how to do that. Actually, I've got to keep this handy because you do need a surface. You need a surface to sand on that is not going to be like your beautiful antique table, or certainly not your glass mat or something else, because obviously this is going to rough it. Whatever you sand is going to rough up. So you've got to have some kind of a surface. I use that. If I need a bigger surface, if I'm sanding something bigger, then I just picked this up at the Dollar Tree, and it's kind of another mat that I can use, but you can see it's very rough, and that's from sanding. So if I need to do a large piece of paper, then I use this. But otherwise, I just will grab this. This is just the gutted book from a Reader's Digest, and this is what I use to glue on and whatever else. Okay, so what are we going to do? I have made this page, so I am working in this steampunk journal, and it is for the December to Remember Junk Journal Challenge 2023 with Dear Julie here on YouTube. And I am making 12 page ensembles. This particular one is the privacy envelope and tuck flip. So I have made the page, but I can't take a picture and post it yet because I have to put an insert in it, and that insert has to have 3 embellishments. This is my page, and it flips. So here's the privacy envelope, and then this part, you can see it flips over, and here is an insert that I have already sanded, inked, and I've got a little punch in the corner. So there's my 3 embellishments on that insert. And then this is just the decorative side of the flip, and here is the pocket. So I need an insert to go in there, and what I'm going to use is just this trash, this junk trash. And I do this on flyers with mail. I do have a video showing how I process junk mail, and I will do a link below. It also includes how I use sandpaper, but it also has a couple of other tips too, so I will link that below. But let me just show you what sandpaper does for me. So we've got this printing, we've definitely got this barcode. I've got this that I want to get rid of. This is the picture that I want to keep, but I do want to kind of take the gloss off and make it a little more vintage, and that's where the sandpaper comes in. So let me show you. Well, let's do this one first. Okay, so this already has the hole because it was a hanging package, and I don't know whether I'm going to cut the corners off and make it a tag, or it's possible that I will put it in the journal kind of as a little tag page. I don't know, we'll see. But what I need to do first is start sanding. Let me show you how the sandpaper will take this right off. There you go. Isn't that magic? Okay, now you can see there's a couple things going on here that you want to be prepared for. You want to have a little tack cloth. So I'm just going to put a little bit of spritz some water and make that just damp. And then that's going to help me pick up on this, you know, the sandings that come off. Now, if you are sensitive, if you have lung issues, or if you are worried about breathing in, you know, when you do a lot of sanding, you want to wear a mask, and that will protect your lungs. I'm just going to take all that printing off, and that's going to make the card clean. Sorry for the noise. Now, this part is now sanded, so it's got a different texture. Let me show you what's going on. So if I just take my ink pad, you can see that up here, this now is more rough than this. This still has kind of a little plastic coating on it, and you can see if I spray it and then take a cloth and wipe it, this part stays because it's been sanded, so it now has a tooth. That's what we call that, and this part doesn't. So I want to go ahead and sand this whole thing so that it will be evenly sanded, evenly distressed. Now, I do this on all kinds of things. One of the things that I like to use is a recycled greeting card. They'll have a picture on it, but it's glossy, and I'm trying, you know, to have it be vintage. Then I'll just sand it a little bit, and then I just use a damp cloth to kind of pick up all of that stuff that sands off. Okay, so now the rest of this card, I can dye it and it will look the same. So on this side, this is where I want to tell you a little bit about the different weights of sandpaper, the different grits. So this is extremely fine sandpaper, and this is, I don't know what the grit is, but it's kind of a medium. It's not the coarsest, but it's not fine either. Because I want it, when I'm trying to get rid of print, I want enough of a grit that it will scratch it off. But if I'm going to do this part, maybe I don't want big scratches in it. Maybe I do. But sometimes I just want to kind of take a little bit of the glossy part off. So I just use this finer grit, and sometimes I even just use a steel wool, a fine steel wool, and that leaves a very fine sand. But this just looks like it's worn off over time. But here's one of the problems with the black, is it sometimes rubs off the black. So you have to be a little careful about that. But now you can see that the shine has been reduced, and you can see just how that just looks like the image has been rubbed off over time. And that's kind of what I wanted. Okay, so now let me spray my cloth again, and then I just kind of come back and pick up that dust. And then sometimes I have to clean the sandpaper. Okay, so this one is ready. I think I'll go ahead and let's cut the corners into a tag shape. then we can distress it. And now this looks like a piece of deliberate ephemera. It no longer looks like packaging, but it looks like a tag. And I really like that. So now let me finish on this side. Now that kind of creates a good background, you know, for journaling on the back. Be ready for a ribbon. And then you'll have to wait for the flip through to see what I do with it. But I do think that I want to put a little piece of washi tape across the top. Okay, so there's a tag. All it needs is its ribbon. Okay, let me show you the next tag, the tag that I want to put in here. So here is the trash. You can see this was a stencil and some stamps, templates, but I don't want to see that barcode, and I want to smooth that back out. So let's get the sandpaper and just go to town. So let me get rid of that dust. You can see why wearing a mask might be really important to you if you're worried about breathing in that dust. That's good. All right, so now what I want to do is do some smushing with this distress ink. We're going to put the blue on first. That's going to take it more to this bluish gray. And then we'll put some brown on it as well. But now you can see how that no longer looks like a package. Thankfully, I want to light it. This is Gathered Twigs. It has a little more yellow in it. I'm gonna just get rid of those edges. Okay, I'm just going to dry this quick and I'll be back. Okay, I want to stamp. This is a pretty stamp of a Victorian lady. It's going to match the steampunk. And I'm going to put her on this little piece of tissue paper. All right, there she is. Isn't she pretty? Yeah, I like her. Okay, now I'm first going to glue this down. I think we don't need it to be quite that big. I crinkled it because I really want the texture. It's going to smooth out, but you'll still be able to see some of it. So I'm going to put this down. And then we're going to put her right on top. So I'm going to smooth in her face, and then I'm going to make a little texture over here at the top. Just push that up a little bit. Okay. And then, as I have been doing, I want to put a little sentiment. Fly it to your heart. I think we'll go with that one. There you go. I like that. All right. Now let me get this is some hand tatting. Just put that through the top. Okay, there it is. I'm thinking I need some washi tape underneath this though. There. That's better, I think. Let's put it in the page and see how it looks. There it is. I think that's great. I love it. Oh my gosh. All right, and here's our other one. It just needs a ribbon, and there's the sanding. I hope that you will also find sandpaper as affordable, easy, predictable, and vintage as I do. Thanks so much for being with me, and I'll see you again